right, everybody. Welcome to the Pastimes Podcast. Each week we go through an old newspaper from a random date in history picked out by Dave Anthony. I'm Gareth Reynolds, and I've never seen it before, and neither is our guest this week,
Skylar Higley. Hi, Skylar. Well, thank you for joining us, Skylar. You're a comedian, you're a writer, you're a newbie to Los Angeles. You must just
Los Angeles.
Be loving the city. How great is it? Isn't it just the greatest? What a dream.
You know, it's bad. Let's start off with that. It's not good.
Thank you so much.
I want to start with that, but I feel like I've been complaining about it too much because I had a show last night where I just started off like just kind of shitting on Los Angeles, and people really don't like it. Like the people who are here, I feel like it goes one of two ways. Either they're a crowd that I like and they go, oh yeah, this place is not the best, or they really pull back. And I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know there's not like as much of a cultural. I just lived in Chicago for like 8 years.
Better city.
And that's, yes. And that city loves itself so much to a fault. And I accept it because it's like it has so much like specific culture, and it is like so much doing its own thing as its own city, where it's here. It's just about like, you can only have a good time if you're wealthy. And that's like all of it.
That's why we're called the West Coast Brazil. Yes, it really is weird. And I've done that too. I've gone to other cities and like opened by shitting on them. And then they're like sitting there offended. I'm like, you guys know Springfield, Missouri sucks, right? You guys think it's good. Like, you're just like puzzled. You're like, I thought it was blatantly obvious. It's garbage here.
Yeah. I feel like most other cities I wouldn't shit on like this, but like it is like the number one evil of the cities, like where all the industry sort of coalesces, and like the more evil you are, the better. And it's like DC.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
But like even then, I feel like Los Angeles has it beat because it's like at least DC, you're allowed to be ugly, you know.
I think it's DC. It's like old LA. You're supposed to be old. But you moved to LA with some work because you are a writer on After Midnight, the hit show on CBS, and you're also a comedian, as you were sort of referring to. And people can find out where you're going to be or watch your clips at your Instagram, Skylar Higley. There's a sneaky E before the Y at the end of your name. So people should go there to support you, right? That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, that's the best way to go. You can see where I'm at. Guess what? I'm in a new city and have a new job, so I don't have any dates anywhere yet. But I'm around LA.
If you keep shitting on the town, I'm sure they're still piling up in no time.
That's so true. Yeah, they love it.
Well, you know the deal with this podcast. We're going to go through a weird newspaper. You heard the intro. I always like to guess what year Dave is going to pick it from. So do the fans. The fans love this part. It's Price is Right. So I'll guess first because I'm really good at this. And I'm going to guess that we'll do 1907. And Skylar, you're more than welcome to take a stab.
Oh, I can guess?
Yeah, take a stab.
Well, it's got to be at least, I'm like actually trying to guess. It's got to be like, I'm going to guess 1924.
Okay,
oh, so close.
Really? Was it close?
1928.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Fuck.
Okay.
Right.
Give me my money, please.
Well,
money, please.
No,
we'll send
Gareth owes you
what do
money.
I win?
We'll talk email after. It's a whole.
Gotcha.
There's a legal round we're gonna.
Right.
Need to,
there's a whole loan out and
so
everything.
you haven't, and you haven't been in LA for a while, so it might be a little precarious, but we'll figure.
Right, of course.
We will cross those I's and it'll be fine. Go ahead, Dave.
So this is the Seattle Union Record, Seattle, Washington, February 11th, 1928.
Okay. Things are good.
Let's see. Right here on the front page. Mother collapses when informed her daughter must hang.
Oh, fuck. What?
Whoa.
One
Oh,
rope,
boy.
two women.
You know, that...
Sorry, it's a hot start.
No. It's a good start. Mike, I really was like, I was about to go on a tangent where I was like, oh, wow, the past isn't so different from right now, because I thought until daughter must, that could have been a New York Post headline from like this year if it was going to be something about like, that is transitioning or something like that. Yeah. Like right up until that last word, I was like, was that 2024?
Yeah.
Wow, daughter must hang.
It's
also,
tough.
It's like what did she, I do want to know, what did she hang for?
Oh, yeah, we'll find. A foster mother collapsed here
She's just hanging out. The daughter, she's got to hang, and I just can't handle that.
She's having a party.
I can't hang, and so she must, and I have to collapse.
A foster mother collapsed here today when she learned that her adopted daughter had been sentenced to death in Quebec on a murder charge.
I was going to say, I mean, that's come on.
I can say that I'm adopted.
Go grab another. Right? Isn't that the move?
Easy come, easy go is what I say.
Yep. Dr. Frances Palmer, the mother, a practicing physician in electrotherapy here.
Yeah, that's that's not great either. So
you're not a doctor.
Oh,
she's like, I shock a bunch of people, but my daughter can't hang.
I can't be shocked.
I like another version of execution.
Yeah.
Also, whatever happened to women collapsing? That was like, they used to do that all the time,
Well,
women don't be fainting like that anymore. Not that I want that. No Cosby. No Cosby.
We're not pushing for it. No, but I would say the last famous one was when Trump got elected. The woman who hit the ground screaming in her two cat and glass. She was that was a collapse. That was a good collapse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'd never heard of that.
She's
so
a meme.
Trump got. Oh, so she just like totally fell out in in hysterics.
I think it was when he at the inauguration. She was like a lot of us. She was not into it.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, was she so excited or was just?
There were those two. There were
because I feel like it could have gone either way. People were very. Let's pass out.
It was. Let's be honest. It was an emotional day for a lot of us in one way or another.
Yeah, I was jerking off that whole day. So
it was a great day to jerk. But I will say, if he gets back in, I think we will find a lot more collapsing. There will.
Yeah. I feel like people. I understand that. I feel like if he gets back in, the lady who collapsed, like she's gonna be Thank you. Yeah. I feel like her heart's not gonna be in it. I feel like the same reason why he's going to get back in is going to be this, like, I can't care anymore. It's not going to be, oh no, it's like, this might as well happen because.
Yeah, the initial shock is awful. It'll still be crazy to see because it will be like a sequel. It'll be like, like T2. You'll be like, whoa, fuck, this is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, he's got metal liquid bones now.
Yeah,
or something.
Exactly. Now he can like go through doors, and you're like, oh fuck,
you're like, oh shit,
oh no,
man,
that's gonna be how he gets out of jail.
Becomes the good guy.
The Trumpinator. He's just gonna be like, zoom, and just leave like orange Cheeto marks on everything he slinks through.
Nice, good Cheeto reference. Way to get it in.
Thank you. Sponsor.
She had not heard from her daughter, Doris Palmer, for some time and had believed she was somewhere in New York. All right, so they're not that close.
So she collapsed and she doesn't even check in. Oh no, it's like you were busy shocking people and animals. Don't act like I feel like I'm not to be a misogynist, but this lady overdramatic.
All right. I mean the estranged part is it's tough. It makes the collapse a little more. I agree. I will flag it a little bit. Still, it is awful to be like.
Just so performative.
I've got an update on your daughter.
On Instagram.
Yeah, it's a little shocking, I guess.
I've got an update.
The daughter with her second husband was sentenced to die in Montreal for murder.
Montreal,
an international. Yeah, that's where they used to do it, I guess. An international news service reporter called at Miss Palmer's home and told of the girl's plight. The shock was more than the mother could bear.
They really shouldn't have used shock.
Wait,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's funny. But also, how did they know that. Like they called, she collapses, and then does she call the news again and then go?
You do it Publishers Clearinghouse style. You show up to the door with balloons.
Yeah,
your daughter's dead. Big check.
Boy, you could have really that reference could have gone bad. Like how old are you, Skylar? Like that?
I'm 27.
Okay, that you're probably right on the edge of knowing what that means. I would imagine.
Publishers Clearinghouse. I don't really know what it means.
But you knew about the big check.
I knew about the two. I knew about Terminator 2.
Yeah.
I visually I know what the check is. I didn't know what like Publishers Clearinghouse as like an organization is.
Yeah,
I actually
the only people
don't know
who make
that
big
either.
checks?
Okay. I don't know. I don't know where their money comes from. Where does their money come from?
Well,
it can't be good.
I think that they were like booksellers, and they would use the contest to get people to buy stuff, and then
back when you could sell a book.
Yeah,
this is the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't believe it, Doris, a murderess. There must be some mistake.
A murderess. It's like the version of comedian for murderess.
No, it is very progressive.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
I prefer the term female murderer.
Lady killer.
Miss Palmer moaned when she was revived. Okay, so she said that after she was revived. I must go to her immediately. Please tell me all the details. Miss Palmer said she would exhaust every resource to save her adopted daughter.
Oh, but not Canada.
Maybe could have tried being like a better mother, so that didn't happen.
True.
Those adopted kids, you can't trust them. You really gotta watch them.
Why did she get hanged, Dave? What was the
murder?
Oh, it is murder.
Murderess. She was a murderess.
Right. Okay.
Murderess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, whatever. I'm fine with it. Get them out of here.
She did lady homicide.
Yeah.
There's going to be adopted people mad, not realizing that
Skylar's adopted. We're
good. Yeah. I can make a lot of adopted jokes.
We're good.
You do.
I was adopted. Okay, good. As long as people need to know, I can say whatever I want.
Yep.
Yeah. And he had it really bad because he was adopted by Mormons.
Yeah, Mormons, white Mormons, pretty bad. And you know what? It kind of puts it into, now I'm thinking about this girl's plight and my own plight, and I go, I get why you murdered somebody.
That's great. Fuck. That is a brutal lottery. That's the opposite of the Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah, exactly. A reference that I get.
Yes.
Booze party ends fatally.
Fucking A, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, front page is killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. This is the front page of what was the place that this is from again?
Seattle.
Oh, Seattle was going up.
Yeah, it really was.
In the
this
1920s.
Story, this happened in Chicago, I think.
Well,
Leland,
of course.
Yeah,
the blues party ends fatally. Chicago. That was probably yesterday.
Yeah, could have been. Yeah.
Leland Bryan, son of I can't read what this
prom
is.
King.
Prominent,
Go ahead.
An Indiana physician, was shot and killed today, and his alleged common-law wife, Irene Ford, 28, of St. Paul, Minnesota, was perhaps fatally wounded in a battle following a liquor party in an apartment.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's Chicago. The whole thing. Booze party, shot, liquor party.
We're in Prohibition, correct?
Yes, we are.
There we go.
So it was going up. They probably got chopped by the mob or something.
Yeah, Chicago. Exactly. Yeah, Chicago during Prohibition was the fucking spot.
Yeah. That's they call that there's an Irish goodbye where you leave without telling anyone, and a Chicago goodbye is just where you shoot somebody.
Where you kill someone or get killed.
Just dead.
Yeah.
Party's over. That's how you didn't know the party was over until someone got shot.
That's is actually the 1928 version of flicking the lights on and off in a bar. That's how you send that signal. Like, well, Lacey's dead. Let's get out of here.
They didn't have closing time. They just had Tommy guns.
Yeah, Tommy time.
Mule Rex train engineer is killed.
What? Jesus Christ.
Whoa. This is like, what's that one folklore tale about like John Smith versus the whatever machine. You guys know that one?
No.
Now I'm doing. There's like one.
Are you talking about John Jacob?
Mormon stuff?
Oh yeah, I wanted to teach you about a guy that I know named Joseph Smith. He had some crazy ideas that just might bring you to eternal life. No, I'm talking about the. Well, this is a dumb reference now, but there's like this story about like I think it's a folktale about they introduced a train that could like cut down stuff, and he tried to lay more. Maybe it was a machine. Anyway, I find it fascinating that a mule beat a machine. Nature over the time of machines.
Yeah. The mule took the train down.
That's pretty cool.
This happened in Sacramento. Walter Shields, engineer on Southern Pacific Train number 49, died at a hospital here today following a train wreck 15 miles north of here, caused by a mule's insistence on its right to stand in the path of an approaching flyer.
They are putting a lot of plight on the mule's. Like a mule, they're like, the mule stood for what he believed in.
This is, I will say this is very Boeing coded, where it's like, a mule kicked it. We didn't do it. It wasn't our shitty train. It was the mule. Like, if your train can be taken down by a fucking mule, you have problems.
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem like a train would just go through a mule?
Yeah,
like,
I think so.
Question.
I think a well-built train would. That's why.
I mean, how big is the mule? Gotta be fucking nuts.
Yeah, they were much bigger back then.
The conductor was just kind of like, oh shit, sucks for the mule. He didn't realize he was dealing with Unbreakable.
Yeah. This like the super power. I mean, that would be, first of all, a great film. A super mule that can take down trains, like that's like Hancock.
Yes.
But like, yeah, you see a mule on the tracks. I'm sure he did see it, and he was just like, I'm not going to stop. Why would I stop? We've got to get this steel to,
we've got to,
what other
got to get
part
the
of
steel to the, exactly, that, whatever they were.
Yeah.
Probably steel-based something, I agree.
Yeah, these barrels of pickles across the United States.
Right.
Yeah, you got to get the steel to the steel house.
Whatever they were transporting back then, I don't really know. Also, I really want to just like call out and just think about how sad would you be for like your family or just your own legacy if you were the guy that died because of a mule kicking a train, and now, however many years later, they say you die twice. Yeah. Once when you die, and another time when people forget about you.
Oof.
And
I didn't. By the way, for those of us who were not familiar with that, it's a gutting moment on this episode.
But it's not gutting. Because like we're bringing him up, so he's still not dead in that way.
But to bring him up, hey, you're back to life.
Shit on him.
So comedians are shitting on you on a podcast. What's a podcast? Don't worry, dumbass.
Exactly.
He died like a loser. It's like a thing Trump would do. He died on the tracks like a fucking loser from a mule.
This man is being remembered 100 years later for dying in such a terrible way. And that would be awful that is your... I don't know anything about this man.
No.
In 100 years, the only thing anyone alive knows about him right now is that he died from
I'll tell you, if his mother got this news and didn't collapse, that's a crime.
Oh, this is collapsible for sure.
Yeah, because if you're just like, a mule hit the tracks. Oh, gosh, that sucks. Did he make it with the pickles and steel? He's dead. Wait, what?
He's dead. Who cares?
The whole thing is just, he died.
But it's a train. Wait, but it's a train.
Yeah, math-wise, this should not have happened.
Well... But the train's going pretty fast, right? And how much is a mule? Like 80 pounds? And you're saying it destroyed the train?
Yeah, but it stood there. It was protesting. We know it was a mule protest. Without question. It was,
The mule was saying free Palestine.
We call him the Free Palestine pony. He was not...
And they're like, what's Palestine? I don't think that can exist for another 20 years.
It actually is true. That's not here yet. But believe me...
Wait, that was it. Wow, did I just get Palestine confused with Israel? Cut that out. I said it's not going to exist for another 20 years.
Well, you actually showed your true colors.
Yeah.
We know where you stand.
You know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Look, sometimes riffs go awry.
It happens.
Yeah.
I should go back to shitting on adopted people.
Get back to that. That was good
dude,
stuff.
stay in your wheelhouse.
I gotta stay in my lane.
Yeah.
I go out of my lane and then bad things happen.
Like a mule on a track.
Exactly.
Speaking of, after striking the mule, the locomotive plunged over a 15-foot embankment.
This is crazy. What the fuck
pinning
are we
the
even
engineer beneath the wreckage.
Whoa.
I don't believe this to be a mule. This can't be. I mean, seriously, imagine watching that. You'd be like, bro, what the fuck? I don't think life is real. I think this is
That's got to be a horse at least. A horse at least.
It has to be. Imagine watching a train hit a mule and the train flies. You'd be like,
oh my God.
Fuck.
Yeah. That'd be kind of incredible. You're like that physically. You know when you're playing a video game and you run into something with a car, like it's an older like PS2 game,
right.
and you're driving a car and you run into like full speed into like a fire hydrant and the car stops.
Cone. Yeah,
it's like it doesn't make any sense physically. Yeah. That is what is happening in this situation.
Exactly. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. And the mule, was the mule okay?
No, I can't imagine that the mule made it.
I just wanted to know because it's taking out a train.
I choose to believe the mule survives.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, they didn't even name the mule in the article, and that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, that is shitty. Peppers died too.
50 passengers riding in 2 coaches were unhurt. So
they must have also been like, what the fuck? What happened? Did we hit another train? No, there was a mule.
No, it was a mule.
It's
just a mule.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
That's wild. That should be the top story. But
did the mule, the mule was already on the tracks, or it like kind of just jumped onto the tracks?
No,
it was just standing. It was just standing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did see it, and the conductor just did not slow down.
Well, he had to be like, I don't care. I mean, he had to be like, look, braking's going to suck, and there's no way this fucks with me.
Yeah, but it's still going to ruin the chassis.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you call it for trains?
Yeah, chassis.
Fuck it up.
No,
the train chassis.
Yeah.
It'll be
I know a lot of stuff.
It'll be a Massey chassis.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's still, you don't want to deal with that.
It's not ideal. No.
They must have been really behind on something. It must have been
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So sometimes they just have a little blurb in a paper, like at the bottom, just a 1-sentence thing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ said, "It is finished" when he died.
What the fuck?
So did Jesus Christ die in 1928? What is this? That's very Mormon.
Weird.
I mean, what?
Like how? Like that's not.
That
Jesus Christ
like
said,
a real letdown for Jesus' last words. You know what I mean? Like he's Jesus. He should be like, continue to spread the message. Love is all. But he's like, my throat's killing me.
And that's a wrap.
I'm out, y'all. I'm out.
Later.
Be good, baby.
Fuck this.
Shit.
Hey, deuces up.
Bye.
So that's just at the bottom of, was that the same?
It's at the bottom of the page. It's just down
no
filling,
sense.
taking up a little.
Gotcha.
It's like a filler, right?
Yeah, that's like that's like something that they wanted to tack onto the mule thing.
By the way, I'm not saying that this paper is poorly organized, but if you spend like a paragraph on the mule train thing, which is crazy, and give one line to Jesus' last words, I'd read that paper and be like, wait, that's not what? What's going on?
Well, that was what confused me. I thought Jesus Christ said it is finished when the mule died.
Oh no,
maybe the mule is called Jesus Christ.
That would have been good.
Yeah,
I'm just pitching.
Judge decides that mothers can smoke.
Nice.
I'm hoping. Let's all hope for pregnant mothers.
Yeah, right. Just because she smokes is no sign that a mother is not a fit custodian of her children. Judge W.B. Wehan had ruled Saturday in awarding the custody of 3 small children to Miss Grace Niederhauser when he granted her a divorce from William Niederhauser.
Wow.
Although he was trying to get custody by saying she's a smoker.
I like it.
A smokestress, they called them back then.
Yeah, right. Yeah. A lady puffer.
So he's just like, she smokes. This guy actively beats her. She smokes. She's a smoker.
I would love to posit the theory that this man is a drunk, a piece of shit, and all that, but he was just like, Hail Mary, she smokes.
Yeah.
She's smoking.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's no way for a mother to be around children.
Sir, you smoke
Meanwhile,
too.
he smokes. Yeah, he smokes.
But
He's burning the kids with his cigarette.
Smoking in the courtroom. I mean, she's a smoker, which I find it fucking disgusting.
She's a woman.
She can't do it. She's only got one lung. We all know that.
Although awarding her the children in spite of the vigorous protests of the father, Judge Hewen allowed her no alimony, but ordered Niederhauser to pay $35 monthly for the support of the children. That's probably a lot of money back then.
That's probably good.
Yeah, that probably all went to cigarettes.
Yeah. I mean, she can't get alimony. She's a fucking smoker. But it doesn't mean she shouldn't be a mom. Yeah. But she doesn't really deserve alimony.
I agree.
Well, you can't give her alimony because she's going to spend it all on cigarettes.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Pack a day. How many kids did she have? Did it say? Because one kid, it's like whatever. But like multiple kids that like they all get to breathe in the smoke, so it kind of makes it less bad for everybody.
That is actually true. That is a better theory.
Oh,
the idea that it's like kids. She had 3 kids. Okay, yeah. I mean that's 6. That's 6 lungs. That's puffing it down nicely.
Disperses it.
If
like it's one kid, it's like that's too much smoke. Yeah. Exactly.
So this bow legs.
That's the whole thing.
That's the headline.
Bow legs. Is that just they're new and they're coming and you got a $3.99 a month?
Bow legs.
This fall on CBS. Movie? It's bow legs.
Yeah.
Is it? Can I ask? Is it BOW or BEAU?
BOW.
Okay, so I thought they were trying to do something real clever, but it's just bow legs.
Nope. You want to read more?
No.
I do want to know.
Looks seem to be more precious than life to some girls. Therefore, a girl with bow legs undergoes an operation to have them straightened.
Wow.
Gangrene sets in, and both legs have to be amputated above the knee.
What is this a story, or this is just some guy just being like, watch out?
It's short fiction.
Yeah.
It's not a story. It's not a news report. It's a guy just
like shit. On a corner just being like, then you're going to lose them.
Wait, it really was just like it's not anything. He's just like, that can happen.
Yeah, so, that's what he's saying. Keep
in mind,
is this a doctor?
This is following Jesus Christ's last words. So we're definitely entering the strange part of the paper.
This is such a strange. This is like a weird, like, I love the idea that this is like some weird, like, Facebook shit. And they have that fully in papers.
It feels like a guy who fetishizes bow legs and doesn't want to see any of them get taken away.
Yeah.
They'll get gangrene and you'll lose them.
You'll get gangrene and you'll get
then you don't have any legs.
Cancer.
Then you'll miss your bow legs.
Okay, if she recovers, she can have a couple of artificial legs, but will probably have to use crutches.
Oh, I love that.
Bow legs. Bow legs are due to malnutrition and lack of sunshine in childhood, making the bone.
That's true.
Yeah. Making the leg bones soft so that they yield and bend under the weight of the body.
100% accurate. It's definitely a sun issue.
You're not giving your legs enough sun.
No, I mean, come on. Yeah, they're like flowers. Yeah.
You gotta give your legs. So that's why I'm wearing shorts right now, so they don't get bow-legged.
That's right. That's right.
And give your legs vegetables.
Yeah.
This lack is sometimes due to poverty and sometimes due to ignorance. Mothers often deprive children of sunshine in order to keep the rug from fading.
What is he taught? What the fuck?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they're saying that. Okay, here's what he's saying. He's
like
saying
the rug,
that,
like
that you put curtains up in your house because the sunlight comes in through the window and your rug gets fucking faded. So,
gotcha.
So in order to save our rug, we're losing our legs. So this guy,
I thought it was still.
Should this guy be allowed in a paper? It could be pube related. Should this guy be allowed in a paper? Because so far it feels like this is like Q.
This is
He really just paid. This is like a paid ad.
Yeah.
It's just a guy making stuff up.
Yeah, this should be a skywriter.
This gets better. And they often don't know what to feed children. Right, mothers don't know what to feed children. That's
they're too busy smoking.
Mother thing.
Well, he's gone from one place to another so quickly.
It's safe to say he's lost the thread here a little bit.
Yeah, and you know what else? They don't smile enough. Mothers.
Yeah.
And you know what else? Nobody can do cartwheels anymore.
It's from a lack of reading.
Doctors unanimously recommend mother's milk until the weaning stage, after which they recommend a continuance of anti-rachitic diet of other forms. No idea what that means.
This guy is out of his fucking mind.
Health departments in cities are waking up to the necessity of giving advice to mothers, and the federal state maternity and infancy service will save many children of the oncoming generation from bow legs and more serious ills.
He is making bow legs seem like it was an epidemic.
Yeah,
like
he's
like
bow legs like measles. Yeah.
It's really crazy. It's like, I mean, maybe there were a lot of people with bow legs.
I feel like we'd know about this generation of mislegged.
I think the 20s were just such a time where they had so little understanding of what to worry about, and that's what led to the Depression, where they're just like, I don't know, I'm drunk.
It is kind of true. It's like you see, like this sort of shit in like 2 years would just be like, well, I don't care. Can she dance? We need nickels.
Right.
Okay, this is from Boston Children's Hospital. Bow legs often develop in the child's first year as part of natural growth for no known cause. Some babies are born with bow legs. So it just
is it self-healing? Or it's just...
It turns out it's not sunshine. No,
well,
I think...
Well, they don't get any sunshine in the womb, so that's why.
There you go.
That's true. Well, yeah, you don't want to open it up because of the rug. Like you said.
Exactly.
They put them in like a
debower.
I don't know what. Well, like a frame around the. I don't know what to call it. A frame around the legs,
like crutches, crutches. Yeah, the Forrest Gump thing.
Right.
Oh my God, yeah.
Forrest Gump, Skylar.
They run out of them across the country. They get to be part of every major historical event. Yes. Maybe bow legs are good.
Yes,
it would be amazing. It would be amazing if I just read that in Boston Hospital was like, put him in the sun.
Just put them in the sun.
Yeah.
This is right below it. The measure of love. In these days of scientific marvels, far be it from an I can't read that word either. Sorry, some of these are blurry. Editor to deny that love can be measured, but we move for a more specific statement of the procedure before we admit that this love measurement is not free advertising for actresses and others rather than scientific data. Measuring love?
What the fuck is this?
They seem like they were getting to something, but then they never got specific about what.
He's saying that some people are saying love can be measured, and he disagrees.
Yeah. Right. Well, they probably had those weird love meter things back then, so maybe it's a retort to that, like where you'd put your hand on a little fucking metallic grip, and it would be like, you're smitten.
Mm-hmm. That sounds
you're
like
a cold hand. You've got bow legs.
That sounds like a Scientology test.
All right, have a good podcast, gentlemen.
Okay. How is it possible to compare one girl's love reaction with another's? On the film that is supposed to produce this stimulation, is the man used for both girls, or do they use a different man? Do they always take care to choose the sort of man with whom the particular girl might be expected to fall madly in love? How do they know what sort of man that is? It just goes on. He's lost his fucking mind.
I love this. I get it. I get what's happening here. Sometimes you read a scientific criticism of like other science, and this is like criticism of like a carnival game.
Right.
And
I mean, yeah.
Well,
he went out of his way to be like, that's not science.
To your point, it is so funny to imagine what it's all going to look like in a year. Like stuff like there's no room to be like, how do you measure a woman's like they'll be like, we need bread.
They're like,
can we get
I'm
bread?
starving.
I'm dying
and I'm
out
trying
here.
not to eat my
Please,
children.
yeah. It kind of reminds me now in times where I'm like, you'll see like as everything is sort of falling apart, you'll see things where like some guy will be like on YouTube will be like, I was trying to solve the biggest problem in my life. How do you get a nonstick frying pan? You're like, bro, we're going to be like eating each other in 5 years.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You're going to need to buy a gun, my guy. You're not
like,
going to.
seriously,
You're going to
get
be
ready.
eating off the ground.
You're done.
Don't worry
You'll
about
be
the
dead.
stick or the frying pan.
You will be drinking your own piss.
Happy.
You will be drinking your own piss.
I miss my nonstick frying pan. This piss doesn't even taste good anymore. He liked it at one point.
Yeah, well, before when it was the first round of piss, it had flavor, but it's ripping
pretty
repurposed.
good. Back when I had like nutrients and like vitamins, it was all right.
There was some color to it.
Wow.
Here's another little space filler at the bottom.
Oh, God.
No hooch hound would trust a shifty-eyed stranger if he were buying oil to put in his motor.
This
I
one
think
makes
that's
more
supposed
sense
to
to
be
me
a-
than the Jesus one.
It seems like it was like half of a joke where they're like,
Well,
it's supposed to be no hooch hound would.
Isn't
You're
it?
like, okay.
It's kind of like I mean, first of all, this is pure like spacing shit. They just need filler because the paper is right. But it is basically saying like, don't buy gin from just anybody because it's like putting weird oil in your car.
Is that what it is? Okay. Yeah. That
I
makes
think
sense.
it's a bit of a. I think it's like fentanyl. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if you're gonna buy your fucking Coke,
Yeah, they're gonna cut it with something.
yeah.
So you wouldn't buy oil from some weirdo in the woods. Why would you do that with your booze?
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
That's fair.
But it is.
I guess
it's
that's
also
fair, but
it's also
but
like
oil's legal.
That's true.
Well-
by the way, what a buzz you catch off of a good fucking sip of oil. But it is like it does show like America's want of alcohol is so strong. We should have learned the war on drugs lesson in this era so simply by being like, look, if people want to fucking party, we want to party. We want to party.
Right.
We like to be inebriated.
Yeah.
We like to put weird shit in our bodies. So fucking leave us alone. Give us the real shit. I'm out of here.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean, but I mean, I feel like the war on drugs was about a completely different thing.
Well,
I don't
and
think
the
they
war on-
really did.
No.
They were like, people don't need. It wasn't because they're like they don't need drugs.
No, it was definitely it was definitely how do we put it? A front. Yes. Yeah.
It was Nixon creating a scare of immigrants.
Yeah.
If you can imagine a Republican doing that.
I mean, I don't believe you have fake news, but
Thank you.
The hooch hound thing made me think that like, wow, I'm surprised that none of these headlines or anything that's been read from 1928 hasn't been like weirdly racist in some way.
It is
It
true.
feels like the Polacks are at it again.
That is actually very strange.
Some papers are a lot worse than others. I mean, when we first started doing the podcast, there are some papers that say Chinese with two E's on the end.
It's tough.
And you're just like,
whoa, as opposed to
it's-
the Chiner, there's a Chiner and a Chinese in the transaction.
it is just crazy. It is crazy.
Yeah. No, but again, we're in the roaring 20s. So, you know, right now they're like, hey, whatever, you know, but in like
Everything's
a year,
good,
that
yeah.
paper will blow absolutely without question. It'll be like, it's the Italians.
Yeah.
Okay, this seems to be some sort of advice column. Listen World by Elsie Robinson.
This is the fuck. These normally are kind of my favorite parts. Where you're like, you get to meet the character from this time who's like, I know what I'm talking about.
This is titled, Why is a Bully? Have you married a human cactus?
Hey, someone's drinking hooch from a weirdo.
Okay, wow, you came in hard.
Wow,
she's like,
explain
she wrote that down.
yourself.
She wrote human cactus and went bars.
I think
Human
I'm done.
cactus.
Miss David Miller has, and she sends an SOS. My dear Miss Robinson, my husband causes me endless misery and embarrassment by his rudeness to everyone. I am always having to excuse him to other people and apologize for him behind his back. And yet, he's a wonderful husband to me.
What?
That makes my problem particularly hard and confusing. When we are out driving, we have a most awful time. He is always bawling out other motorists. He's the same way with...
Now, what does that mean?
It's got to be yelling at, right? It's got to be yelling at. Bawling out?
I just imagine him getting out of the car every time he drives and just dunking on somebody else in a car.
Pops on the rec specs, crossovers. Oh, dear.
He is the same way with clerks in stores, hat check people, ticket agents, etc.
He's a dick.
He is a dick. If he isn't waited on instantly, or if there is the slightest mistake in filling his order, he makes such a racket and everyone looks at us and I'm mortified to death. But he just seems to glory in it. The only one he won't pick a fight with is a policeman. He tried that just once.
I mean, this is so fucking I'm like, he's just the worst.
Yeah, he's just an asshole.
The discomfort you feel when someone is a prick about their food in a restaurant is like, man, just fuck.
But she's like, but he's nice to me though.
But at home,
like
he's the
original.
best.
I mean, that's surprising that like in that time and the marriages and what was permissible he's mean to everybody else, but to her he's like, this is nice.
It is best case scenario as far as the setup goes, you know, because you'd expect like, oh God, at home, oh God.
Yeah.
I cannot make friends with people in my apartment because he is bound to insult them sooner or later.
Fuck.
For a while, I was very friendly with the lady who lived in the apartment above us, but one night they talked a little longer than he thought they should, so he grabbed a broom and pounded on the ceiling and threatened to call the police. So he's just a dick.
Right,
he's a dick.
Okay, but I agree. This guy sucks. Can we take a vote of who has taken a broom and pounded on the above neighbors? Because I have done that. Yeah.
Oh, I've definitely never done that.
Oh, I've done that like many times.
Live and let live.
Oh, I've done that repeat. I've done that, and I've had that done to me.
I've definitely had it done to me.
Yeah.
Gareth lived next to a nightmare.
Oh my! That was the worst one. That was
what was the nightmare? How bad? What was the worst, most egregious offense?
Well, let me set it up very quickly. So I moved into this apartment. And, you know, it's like you fucking move all your shit in. You're like, oh, thank God it's over. And my buddy comes over the day after I move in. He's like, he brings me a little housewarming gift. It's like 11:30 a.m. on a Saturday. And we're just chatting, just quietly chatting. And then I just hear screaming. And I'm like, the fuck? And so I'm like, okay, so we keep talking. And then I hear pounding and screaming. And I go, is that coming from next door? And so I'm like, I think she just goes, your neighbor is trying to sleep. And I go, so I knock on her door and she goes, fuck off. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I text the building manager who literally just rented me the place. And I go, is the woman next door crazy? And he goes, sadly, yeah. And I was like, what? I go, dude, what the fuck? Everything got moved in. And she was it was crazy. Like they had to repaint the apartment. Like there's some fucking law where whatever, every 8 years you have to. So, and they needed to get her out and she refused to leave. No. and they had the police had to come over to get her out for like 3 days.
Oh
it was
my God.
fucking crazy. But she would be, I would be like in my bedroom watching TV, and I would hear her. I was like, this is out of fucking control. She was.
I once crazy when I was living with I was growing up. I was in high school. I was living with my mom, single mom, 2 young brothers, like very young, like I don't know, 4 and 5 or something like that. And it was like we lived above this guy who hated us so much because he both like was racist and also hated Mormons. And so it was like the worst.
He was like, what the fuck just moved in?
He's like, I never thought both of my enemies would coalesce into one apartment just above me.
The Vens moved in.
It was really
Boy.
bad. He would always be like, he would be writing weird like letters and tell us that we were going to hell, and like he would pound on the ceiling all the time, but just like in the middle of the day when we weren't even doing anything. It was really. I remember almost getting in fights with this guy like multiple times. Like I would be like pounding on his door, being like, "Fucking knock it off, just calm down." And then it was rough. It was weird,
crazy.
Yeah, and then he would like jokingly be like, put like Satan stars around our house and stuff. It was crazy.
But if you're in the Church of Satan, that means you're doing a great job. We used to get those in my high school.
He must have been doing great.
I lived below a guy once who fucking put the system on trial. This is when I was in college, and my roommate and I were probably like whatever. We were like younger, so we were like drinking and chatting too much. But he hated us, and then one day to shut us up, he jumped on the floor and he blew out the ceiling lights, and we were like, "Oh!" We're like, "This fucking dude crushed!" Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's game over on that.
Yeah, that was done. We were like, "All right, that guy wins." All right. Well, so.
I mean, okay, her answer's not that bad.
I still don't see how he's a cactus.
Yeah,
because he's prickly. It took me a while to put it together.
Okay, all right.
He's prickly like a cactus.
He's a prick. Yeah, he's got a lot of pricks.
And he's clearly dehydrated.
Yes, from alcohol. Yes.
A psychologist would tell you that your husband acts that way because he's, and this is in capitals all of a sudden, envious, not envious of certain waiters or clerks or drivers, but envious of all power, strength, popularity, good luck, and happiness.
Pretty.
I mean, that's not bad, right?
Yeah,
pretty solid. I thought the advice was going to be like, try smoking.
Yeah, you should smile more.
Try smiling and smoking.
Yeah,
but no, that's pretty good.
It goes on and on. But she basically says, cure him with love in the end.
Wow. Silly, fucking. Now, why not? If those were Jesus's last words.
Mm-hmm. Pretty good.
Yeah.
His last words were, I'm out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
See ya.
This was weird.
I don't know why I'm doing Obama's voice for Jesus. I'm going to
go. Well.
Forgive them, Father, for they have sinned.
He was our Jesus.
They know not what they do.
Yeah.
Athletic coach quits when high school adopts dancing.
Wow, we got a winner.
Just
fucking awesome.
Great.
This is the best.
Great.
This is man, I almost dropped a Footloose reference with Skyler.
I was gonna say my name is Coach Footloose.
Oh, fucking beautiful.
How dare you dance at my school?
Yeah. That's crazy.
Wow.
It's like such a great hill to die on.
It's a crazy hill to I mean, it's very funny that it's like even dancing happening. It was like, this is not, God damn, that's awesome.
And it kept happening. It was like dancing, rock and roll. Everything was Satan. But to think back to when dancing was a problem, like before this, it was probably hula hooping.
Right.
And there's also specific dances that upset them more than other dances.
Oh
my
wow.
God. This is really making me I'm glad we chose this year because it's really making me think about what a magical world this time must have been. There's superpowered mules.
It says a lot that I almost forgot about the mule.
I could never forget about the mule that took down a train. That's going to be the children's book I write.
No, yeah. I think that might be our winner. That's the blue ribbon.
I mean, dancing. That they said they're going to dance, and he goes, "I quit."
I'm out. Coach
is he
quit.
religious? Does it say?
He's got to be religious. I mean, well, all right. Let's see. This happened in Fort Collins, Colorado. George W. Scott.
Whoa.
George W. Scott, ace of track coaches, has tendered his resignation at the Fort Collins High School today, effective today. Should supervised dancing be adopted at the school? Wow. He declares that athletic teams are only 60% efficient in high schools where dancing is practiced.
That is such a fucking out of your ass statistic. It's fantastic. That is so good. 60, like they were like, what?
This is like the Jordan Peterson of their day. It's like, I think if you postulate, if I were to actually put the numbers up, they're only about as 60% as productive if they can dance.
Feet were not designed to dance.
I mean,
that's hilarious.
Ben Shapiro too. It's all you can see. All those guys doing it.
Yeah.
It's highly illogical for a man to even put on shoes to waltz in, let alone to do something like the foxtrot.
I mean, they need to be using their legs for going forward only. They can't. Yeah. A man should not be going side to side, backwards, and up and down.
In the face of everything this economy is built for a man to be doing backward steps and even side steps.
This dancing could be the end of Western culture.
Well, they actually think that. I mean, I've read some stuff. It's crazy, especially ragtime. They lost their minds over ragtime. Oh my God. Dancing. They literally lost their minds.
That's when a woman has her period, right? I got to go.
Yes. Dancing was approved by the Parents Teachers Association and now waits only the vote of the school board. Scott has produced 2 national championship track teams for Fort Collins during the past 3 years and conference championship football teams the last 2 years. He has coached high school athletics for 16 years. So he's like, I bet they voted against it. I bet because they don't want to lose this coach. I bet they voted against it.
Wow. It's really just imagining a world where the big issue is dancing.
Again, like your first point is so right, because it's just like this guy in a couple years is just going to be like, we had to eat the dog.
You're right. I would give anything to see someone dance.
Boy. Yeah, he'll be dancing.
Wow.
What was his name,
This guy
Dave?
would have hated TikTok.
Oh, TikTok completely. It is, yes, TikTok. What's his name, Dave?
George W. Scott, Fort Collins.
Wow.
While you're doing that, I'm going to read this little blurb at the bottom. Yeah. Men laugh at women for wearing short skirts and pulling them down constantly over their knees. And then the men plan wars and agree on rules to keep the wars from being brutal.
Wow.
What? Is that that's the blurb?
That's the blurb.
That's first night at the open mic sentiment.
It really is. That's like that's when you think you have something to say, and then you say it, and everyone just stares at you, and you're like, oh, okay.
Men, they laugh at us for wearing our short skirts, but then they plan wars and they try to keep the wars from being too brutal. Am I right, ladies? And everybody's like, what? She's like, oh, I guess you guys aren't feminists. It's like, no, we just didn't understand what you said. We just didn't understand what you meant. I would love to go with you on that. There's a lot of criticisms of men, but I don't know what you meant.
I think he might have left.
Really?
I can't tell. He definitely left that school, but I don't know. Can't tell. All right. Anyway.
All right.
I would love to see a narrative of him where he leaves and then his life is empty and he discovers dancing and he loves it so much.
That's the movie.
That is the movie.
That's my pitch.
Who wouldn't be sore? John Hawk. It's a good headline. It's a good headline.
I'm very worried.
That's pretty good.
John Hogan and Andrew Munson were facing a real problem Monday and let the world know they were mad about it. While the 2 men were asleep in their Bachelor Suite at 1818 Terry Avenue early Sunday morning, a sneak thief climbed in through a window.
Sneak thief is great.
It is. and made a leisurely raid on the place. Everything movable, including all of Hoggins and Munson's clothing, were carted off by the prowler.
Wow, this guy's great.
When did they get sore? What did they do to get sore?
Well,
what did the two men do to get sore?
They're sore.
They're like, we're so angry. Mad we have to fuck each other. Oh.
Sore, the other kind of sore. But I like your idea of them fucking each other.
I should have given you another 20 seconds of leash there.
I really was like waiting for the time when it's like, and also they got bonked on the head. But I was like, what? I forget. People in the past talk different.
He's sore,
and they're like, man,
we're no longer gay.
Way. Yeah. We're no longer gay. We're so
no longer gay. We're so sore about it.
So it's Sunday morning.
Sneak Thief.
Sneak Thief is great. Cat Burglar was great, but Sneak Thief is really getting close to the top one.
So it was Sunday morning, so they got shit faced and were passed out, and some dude rolled in, probably a guy they partied with, rolled in and took all the shit.
What did they call it? A Bachelor Suite?
A Bachelor Suite.
Yeah. I do think these two guys were fucked.
I mean, you can hold on. Yeah, that's fine.
It was their third. They brought in a third, and then it was a not trustworthy third. And he was like, I'm just going to grab this stuff.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, now we're sore in two ways.
God damn.
The captain of waiters in the dining room. It's a captain.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's a captain.
Yeah, there's a rank.
Yep. The captain of waiters in the dining room at the Belmont Hotel last week suffered a severe annoyance when an unfortunate diner became ill at table. A doctor was summoned, and the stricken man was carted out with the assistance of several humane waiters. All that the captain seemed to be able to think about was that the evening's business was shot to pieces. He went back and forth, muttering and scolding to himself, not in the least bit touched by the suffering of another human, concerned only with his measly part of the affair. Some people at a nearby table shook their heads mournfully and murmured, "That's New York for you every time."
And they were in Chicago.
New York, baby.
And they were in Chicago.
That's one of those things where it seems really, it probably at the time seemed really fucked up for someone to just put money and their bottom line ahead of the safety of others. But now that doesn't seem to be such a foreign concept. You know what I mean? That would be like, Amazon floor manager ignores worker's hand being removed, just worried about getting packages out on time. You'd be like, yep, that's it.
Yep, that's what happens.
Yep.
Boeing has guy murdered.
Yes.
And you're like, yeah, okay, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, he was trying. Sure. He was lipping off.
Well, he was snitching.
He sure was talking a lot. Yeah. And
the law of corporations is snitches get stitches. Yeah. Everybody knows that. Yeah. It's also very crazy that this is outlandish because this is back in a time when people did have a sense of morality. Now we don't really have a sense of morality, but their morals were just all fucked up. But they actually had the sense, but it was just weird. It was
they didn't really
strange.
do anything, but they still were muttering to themselves, which seems like the thing. That's what I always think about. This maybe isn't a one-to-one comp, but when you see people go and protest and they go to an event and they start shouting at the politician or whatever, the people who right away, before they even let a peep out, start going, "Oh my God, shut up!" And then they just start going 4 more. You're just shut the fuck. What the fuck? Let them protest.
They're also just so mad about when people get so mad about protesting, I find it hilarious because you're just mad about somebody else being mad and they're expressing their anger, and then they're just well, why are you mad at something that you are expressing the same thing?
Well, and it's also the idea that you're turning your nose up at someone ignoring decorum is they're protesting.
Yeah.
It's the angle.
That's the idea.
All right, you want to cap it, Dave? You got one more? You got a banger?
Yeah. Uninvited dry guests spoil nuptial feast. Uninvited guests.
Dry guests?
You'll see. Yeah, you'll see.
if you're gonna, you can come. Look, you can come, but I need you to be wet.
Yeah.
I need you to be soaking.
Dry party of 3.
Uninvited guests have spoiled many a wedding, but never did they put such a crimp into Cupid's handiwork as did 5 dry squatters Sunday afternoon when they descended on the sumptuous wedding feast at Washington Hall of George Samac and his pretty bride. A dozen tables groaned under the weight of luscious viands, and nearly 400 joyous guests prepared to do justice to their friend's nuptial banquet. Then the excitement started. Through the front and side doors of the big hall, the police rum sleuths poured.
Okay. Wow.
Cops.
It took me a really long time to figure out what was going on based on the phrasing.
It's kind of
Yeah,
a
no, they
relief.
purposely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck are they?
They've done a pretty
Sometimes
good job with some of these headlines because you are like, all right, I'm pretty intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, dry guess. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay. So they were cops coming to find alcohol in this wedding.
Yeah, right.
Because it was prohibition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Passing
Dude,
hurriedly
can you
from...
imagine going to a fucking wedding without alcohol?
I mean,
No.
Mormon weddings. So yes.
I feel sick.
yes.
What? How many more? You've been to a number of Mormon weddings?
A handful. I don't really get invited to them anymore.
Yeah, I'd imagine, but they must be awful.
Yeah, well, they all happened when I was like 21, 22, because that's when we got married then. And yeah, it's just very like, well, if you're not going to be in the temple, you just go to the reception, and it is very like, it's very
Everything wraps up
dry,
at like 9:30.
and it wraps up early, and it's just kind of like, we're in just like a church building. It's like, for all I know, this could be like a youth group meeting. Like it feels like it's like there's nothing. It's not that different.
It's like the opposite of a Bert Kreischer show.
Exactly.
Dave, you are dropping more Bert Kreischer references on this podcast than I think we're allowed to.
Okay. Passing hurriedly from table to table, they went, gathering up bottle after bottle of sparkling wine, while others roamed the kitchen and lockers, with the result that in a few minutes, the law had gathered 45 gallons of wine, 3 quarts of whiskey, and a like amount of brandy. But that was not all. Someone must go to jail for the liquor. And Matt Portish, Samac's close friend and best man at the wedding, claimed ownership of the liquor and was marched off to jail by the Happy Rum Squad. So this guy took the fall. So
wow. Well, that's the best man right there.
That
that
really
is the best man.
That's a pretty dope move
For him
because
to
you
say
know it
all
wasn't
that
his.
yeah, all of 450 gallons of wine. He's like, yep, right here.
Yeah, that's me.
Yep, that's me. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
But what dicks, though? Like, fucking let the wedding have fun. Because people are drinking everywhere. They all know it. Maybe someone didn't get paid off. Like you were supposed to pay off the cops to have a wedding with booze or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like that was like during Prohibition. That was like half of cops' job, where they're just like running around finding alcohol, and they weren't doing anything. They're like, murders, whatever. We got to find this booze.
Yeah. In a way, it sounds fun. I mean, it must have made drinking. It's like, it's how do you feel like a teenager the whole time you drink? It's kind of fun.
That's like when weed was so much more fun.
I know.
Like when you weren't allowed to do it, and there was like that fear on the other end of it. And now I get anxious about it, but like I know that it's not illegal, so I'm like, well, now what am I getting anxious for? Before I was like, oh, what if somebody finds me? And I'm like, now I guess I'm just afraid of being judged.
Yeah, now you're like, now I just have anxiety about who I am. This is horrible.
Yeah.
No, I remember when it used to be like, I remember one time me and my buddies, we went in high school, we fucking smoked bongs in a car. And then as we were walking into the movie theater, there was a security guard. My buddy was being loud. And I go, hey man, keep it down. And he just looks at me, he goes, what the fuck is he going to do? I was like, all right, we got to just calm down, man. 5-0. I was like, 5-0. Chill. All right. Well, Skylar, thank you for taking a trip through a weird prohibitive mule train derailing time with us.
I love it.
Yeah.
I really loved it. I have not thought about 1928.
Society was drier than a cactus. Yes. I bet you have it. Yeah.
There's Prickly. There's a cactus guy. There's the mule that I'll never forget. There's
the mule.
The lady that got shocked. Oh my god.
Well, let's be honest. The mule won the paper. I mean,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, and I never knew Jesus' last words before. So
I don't think it's time to take part in the pun that as gospel, because I do
he
think
said,
I don't believe.
Well, they also
was
the
there
other
a
thing
nurse? Where was that?
They think he also said, and that's a wrap. Those were the two.
I'm out.
That's all, folks.
That's the one. That's the one with the stutter. Well, Skyler, people can go find you on Instagram, Skylar Higley, and watch After Midnight, which is a show you're writing on, and at some point you'll have some sets in Los Angeles once you start pandering, as is bound to happen at some point. But.
Oh, I'm definitely around. Follow my Instagram. I'll post my stuff, and I'll be back through Chicago and New York sometimes. So
be careful if you do, because we've heard some weird stories about that area recently. Well, thanks for joining us, Skyler, and as usual, Dave. Screw you. All right, everybody, take care. In the words of Jesus, that's all, folks.
Some of these days you'll miss me, honey.